breeze rustled through the surroundings, whistling softly as it tousled his wispy hair. Jungkook sipped his wine, savoring the taste as he swirled it around in his mouth, all while enjoying the retro music drifting through the crowd. A few steps away from the lively gathering, Jungkook, the young chief of police, observed his colleague Daewon greeting guests, his hands never leaving his stunning husband, Taehyung, who was so breathtaking that handsome seemed an inadequate description. As the music faded, the crowd raised their glasses in a toast to the newlyweds. Jimin stepped back from the carousing crowd and approached Jungkook with a smirk. "Chief, all good?" he asked, tilting his head and locking eyes with him. "Your words and actions are always contradictory, Jimin," Jungkook replied, a hint of amusement in his tone. "Well, my words tend to sound formal towards my chief officer, while my actions are reserved for my friend, Jungkook. For now, it's Jungkook, not your chief," he corrected. "Right, my friend Jungkook. Did you see how excited Daewon is?" Jimin remarked, glancing at the couple. Jungkook shook his head, lost in thought. It was a private celebration for the newlywed couple, Daewon and Taehyung. Daewon, a police officer in the crime wing, and Taehyung, an aspiring graduate, were relishing the party thrown by Daewon's colleagues from the Special Crime Investigation Unit. With identical smiles, they moved from table to table, receiving hugs and congratulations from everyone present. Everything seemed perfect until, "Taehyung, this is our chief, Jungkook, and my senior, Park Jimin," Daewon introduced, reaching for Jungkook and Jimin's hands. "Hi, Taehyung. Welcome to the crime family, feel free to relax," Jimin said, shaking Taehyung's hand. The flush on Taehyung's cheeks was endearing, fitting for a newlywed. "Congratulations, Taehyung," Jungkook said, his commanding yet ethereal voice capturing Taehyung's full attention. "Thank you, Jungkook," Taehyung replied, beaming as he greeted Jungkook with a warm handshake. In that moment, Jungkook felt an undeniable sense of belonging, like Taehyung was home. "Daewon, I think you should remind Taehyung to address him as Sir, since he is the chief," Jimin suggested playfully. "He's not working under me, and we're more like family," Jungkook added, reassuring Taehyung. Jimin, sipping his mead, observed his best friend and senior with amusement. "I thought addressing you by name would be disrespectful. Taehyung is too young to call you by your first name," Daewon explained. "I guess Taehyung and I can sort that out in a few more meetings," Jungkook replied, casually placing his hands in his blazer pockets while smiling at Taehyung. "I think we don't need more meetings. I can come up with a name right here," Taehyung said, stroking his chin thoughtfully. His playful demeanor elicited loud laughter from Jimin. "I'll call you Oppa," Taehyung grinned, looking like a cheeky child. "Taehyung, it's not Oppa, it's Hyung," Daewon corrected with a chuckle, while Jimin continued to laugh heartily. Jungkook found himself enjoying Taehyung's innocence. "Ha, again, my mistake. Okay, Hyung, then," Taehyung said, feigning seriousness. "Let it be Oppa. I like that mistake," Jungkook teased. "Yeah, Jungkook doesn't have any sisters to call him Oppa," Jimin chimed in. "Do I look like a girl, Jimin see?" Taehyung pouted adorably, causing more laughter. "You only speak to upset people, Jimin," Jungkook joked. "That's not what I meant," Jimin retorted, his expression comically worried. "It's fine, Jimin." Taehyung didn't take offense, Daewon reassured, glancing at Jungkook before moving to the next table with Taehyung. As Jungkook swirled his wine, he couldn't help but steal another look at Taehyung, a slow smile spreading across his face, perhaps reaching into his heart. Jimin coughed teasingly, "Someone seems to be thirsting over someone." "What's happening, Mr. Jungkook Oppa?" Jungkook rolled his eyes, a playful grin on his face. "Oh, shut up. I'm just astonished by his charm. Where do people find such beauties in their lives?" "Village. You get authentic beauties like him, pure, innocent, with crystal clear hearts and no makeup on," Jimin quipped, taking a sip from his glass. Jungkook sighed, refilling his wine. "You like him, don't you? Or is it just the fact that he calls you Oppa?" "Both," Jungkook smirked, his eyes glinting with mischief. "Dear amigo, you do realize is already taken, right?" Jimin reminded him, raising an eyebrow. I know, cold hard facts, Jungkook replied, his gaze drifting back to Taehyung. Irreversible truth. Chill, man. You're Jungkook, the child of rich dad Jun and heading a wing already. How can you not find someone for yourself? Luck. I'm just not lucky in love matters, especially with, well, you know, Jungkook whispered conspiratorially to Jimin. Jimin's expression shifted, a hint of concern crossing his face. Just don't ever crush the boy, he's hardly 21. I'm not going to. It's just, some attraction. Jungkook snorted defensively. Taking a deep breath, he added, and there it's gone. Amigo. The next day at the office, Jungkook sat at his desk, sifting through paperwork. Jimin, bring file 401 to my cabin, he commanded. Yes, sir. But unofficially, let's hang out today, Jungkook, Jimin replied, his tone teasing as he skipped out of the room. As Jungkook headed towards his cabin, his steps halted abruptly when he spotted Taehyung walking down the hallway, a sight that took his breath away. The boy radiated beauty, his smile lighting up the space around him. Jungkook couldn't help but admire Taehyung's features, but soon reality set in. Taehyung was taken. Shaking off his thoughts, he quickly made his way into his cabin. Meanwhile, in Daewon's office, Taehyung sat across from his husband, who looked apologetic. I'm sorry, Tae. I left home without waking you up. You looked so peaceful sleeping, and I didn't want to disturb you, Daewon said sincerely. That's fine. I visited my college and completed the formalities, so I was free. I made lunch and packed it for you, Taehyung replied, stealing glances at Daewon, his affection evident. They had barely spent time together before or after their wedding, and Taehyung felt a mix of excitement and nervousness about their new life together. Daewon smiled at Taehyung, appreciating the gesture. You really didn't have to do that, but I'm glad you did. It means a lot to me. Taehyung blushed, feeling warmth spread through him. I wanted to make sure you had something good to eat. I know how busy you get. You're incredible, you know that. Daewon said, reaching across the table to squeeze Taehyung's hand, their connection deepening with every shared moment. As they shared a quiet laugh, Jungkook found himself lost in thought again, contemplating the dynamics of their relationships. He admired Daewon for his devotion to Taehyung and couldn't shake the feeling of longing for that kind of connection.
Jungkook casually entered Daewon's cabin, a sense of urgency in his stride. Daewon, you urgently need to. Hi, Oppa, Taehyung exclaimed, waving excitedly at Jungkook. Taehyung, this is an office, Daewon interjected apologetically, glancing at Taehyung. I'm sorry, Chief, he'll leave now. Ignoring Taehyung's cheerful greeting, Jungkook continued, Daewon, you have to visit the site. You need to hurry. He glanced at his wristwatch for emphasis. Right away, sir, Daewon replied, but Taehyung's smile faltered at the thought of his husband leaving. Jungkook added, you can come back and pick up Taehyung afterward. As Daewon exited, Taehyung offered an awkward smile to Jungkook. Did you bring something to eat? Jungkook asked, removing his blazer and rolling up his sleeves to his elbows. Yeah, I cooked for us. I mean, for me and Daewon, Taehyung said, looking down shyly. What are you waiting for? Serve it, Jungkook urged, taking a seat at Daewon's desk. Huh, Taehyung replied, surprised. I said serve it for me. Someone has to eat. I don't mind eating it all, Jungkook said, gesturing toward the food. But it's nothing great. You might not like it, sir, Taehyung hesitated, his voice trailing off. I like it, sir, and I'm very hungry too, Jungkook insisted, delighting in the attention Taehyung was giving him. Oh, this is my grandma's special recipe, very healthy, Taehyung continued, his enthusiasm growing as he served the food while Jungkook took a spoonful. This is definitely not ordinary. Sit, Jungkook said, motioning for Taehyung to join him on the couch. Try this too, Taehyung suggested, his smile broadening. I hope you didn't feel bad about me calling you, Oppa. What do you do? I mean, I heard you're studying. Jungkook asked, genuinely curious. I'm doing my graduation, Taehyung replied, excitement lighting up his face. Pretty young and already married, Jungkook remarked, raising an eyebrow. My grandma was worried about sending me here alone, away from the village. She says I'm too innocent, Taehyung confessed, his tone reflecting sincerity. So Daewon was the safe hands she found for you? Jungkook probed. Kind of. I don't know much about him since it's an arranged marriage. You must know him well since you've been working together for a long time, Taehyung said, eagerly awaiting any insight about his husband. The food was delicious. I wish I could enjoy it every day, Jungkook said as he moved to the washing area while Taehyung packed his tiffin back. Taehyung's paw. Why didn't he say something about Daewon? He completely ignored it. Jungkook's paw. For heaven's sake. This beauty, fit for a magazine. As Jungkook's eyes roamed over Taehyung's slender figure clad in fitted jeans and a tucked-in shirt, he couldn't help but admire the way the dangling earrings framed his face. Those almond-shaped eyes, delicate hands, oh, why was he feeling this way? Taehyung, join me in my cabin. Daewon is going to take another 2 hours to reach, Jungkook suggested, steadying his breath. Do I have permission to enter your cabin? Taehyung asked, his eyes wide with curiosity. Yes, Jungkook nodded, and Taehyung followed him through the main area, feeling the weight of numerous stares upon him. He smiled at some, while Jungkook side-glanced at the reactions. You don't need to smile at everyone here, Jungkook said with a hint of amusement. Do they stare at everyone who comes into the office, or am I some criminal? Taehyung joked. No, Jungkook chuckled, I guess the reason is, you being this charming. Maintaining warm eye contact, he opened his cabin door, holding it open for Taehyung to enter first. Get in, Twink, he whispered playfully before Taehyung stepped inside, gazing around like a child in a candy store. Be comfortable, Jungkook said as Taehyung settled onto the couch. Jungkook leaned closer, handing Taehyung some books. You can read. To kill time. I'd prefer to take a tour of the office, but thank you anyway, Oppa, Taehyung replied, glancing around with excitement. A tour. This is a crime investigation department, not my dad's office building, Jungkook said with a smirk. Then I must be really lucky to visit a police department and enter the chief's cabin. I mean, the chief's cabin, Taehyung exclaimed, his eyes sparkling. When you're married to one, it's normal. Family visits us here, Jungkook explained, leaning back in his chair with a casual demeanor. And who comes here to see you? Taehyung teased, wiggling his eyebrows mischievously. Jungkook chuckled, I'm single, and my mom nags me enough at home. She talks a lot, just like you, so I definitely don't want her here, it's irritating. Means I'm irritating too, Taehyung said, looking down with a hint of disappointment. Yes, sweetly irritating, Jungkook replied, trying to lighten the mood. Taehyung sulked for a moment before giggling at Jungkook's worried expression. You got nervous already. I'm okay. Jungkook's paw. This boy. I've got some work to do. Entertain yourself, Jungkook said, shifting back to his desk as he began sorting through files. As Taehyung looked around the cabin, curiosity bubbled within him. Suddenly, he spotted something shiny. Oppa, he shouted, causing Jungkook to flinch. Is that a gun? Wow, is it yours? He ran over and picked it up, eyes wide with excitement. I thought you saw a ghost in my cabin, Jungkook laughed, shaking his head. I'm seeing a real gun. How exciting, Taehyung exclaimed, examining the firearm with an amazed expression. Taehyung, you can't just play with that, Jungkook cautioned, leaning against his chair, amusement dancing in his eyes. Oppa, can I try it just once? Please, Taehyung pleaded, his expression innocent and hopeful. Jungkook was so entranced by Taehyung that he barely heard the question. His gaze traveled from Taehyung's tousled hair to his broad shoulders, then down to his lean waist and long legs. What are you doing to me? Taehyung. Jungkook finally snapped back to reality. No, it's loaded. He shoved his chair back and rushed toward Taehyung, who was now pointing the gun at him, triggering it slightly. Taehyung. No, it's loaded, Jungkook shouted, panic rising in his chest. It has bullets loaded, Taehyung said, turning the gun playfully towards Jungkook, clearly unfazed by the danger. Jungkook sprinted forward, grabbing Taehyung's wrist gently but firmly. This is not a toy for you to play with, Twink. What did you call me just now? Taehyung asked, a teasing lilt in his voice. What? Jungkook stammered, avoiding eye contact. I heard you say, twink, or was it, Tae? Did I hear it correctly? Taehyung pressed, a playful smile on his lips. Jungkook squeezed his eyes shut, mortified. I called you Tae. Whatever, oppa. Daewon also has a gun, Taehyung remarked nonchalantly, which sent Jungkook into fits of laughter, interpreting it with double meaning. Why are you laughing like a monkey? Taehyung exclaimed, feigning annoyance. What, you called me a monkey? Excuse me, I am the chief here. Jungkook replied, wide-eyed, glancing at Taehyung's adorably pouting face, which melted his heart. Why were you laughing then? I just asked if he has a gun too, Taehyung said, genuinely confused. Do you really not know why I'm laughing? Jungkook asked, raising an eyebrow. Taehyung shook his head, his innocence shining through. Nope, are you that naive? Jungkook teased, earning a nod from Taehyung. Okay, yes, he has a gun too. I wonder why you didn't see it yet, Jungkook said, trying to control his laughter. Then I'll search his office room today, Taehyung declared enthusiastically. Are you really that curious about this? Jungkook asked, shaking his head, a mix of exasperation and amusement filling him. Not really, but I want to try it once, Taehyung replied. Jungkook's eyes locked onto Taehyung's, his gaze burning with intensity. Do you have the courage to take the shot? Taehyung's smile was radiant, his sparkling with amusement. Why not? I'm not afraid of a little challenge. He paused, his eyes glinting with mischief. And don't let my innocent look fool you, I've got a darker side. Jungkook's eyes never left Taehyung's, his gaze drinking in the sight of him. Evil in you, he whispered, his voice dripping with sensuality. I'm intrigued. As he handed Taehyung the revolver, his fingers brushed against Taehyung, sending a jolt of electricity through his body. Use this, he whispered, his breath dancing across Taehyung's ear. Your target is the black dot on the door. Taehyung's eyes lit up with excitement as he took the gun. Okay, this is fun, he said. Jungkook stood behind him, his chest pressed against Taehyung's back. He couldn't help but inhale the scent of Taehyung's hair. His heart pounded in his chest, his senses heightened as he whispered, remember, it's not just a game. Focus on the target. Taehyung nodded, his eyes fixed on the target. Jungkook's hand drifted to Taehyung's eye-hip, his fingers tracing the curve of his waist. What do you see now, twink? He whispered, his lips grazing Taehyung's ear. Taehyung leaned his head against Jungkook's chest, then tilted his head upwards, his eyes locking onto Jungkook's. I see the target, he said, his voice soft and innocent. Jungkook's gaze melted into Taehyung's, his eyes crinkling at the corners as he smiled. Good, he whispered, his voice low and husky. His hand instinctively wrapped around Taehyung's waist, pulling him closer as he breathed, now, take your time. Taehyung's voice was innocent and eager as he asked, Oppa, shall I shoot? Jungkook's response was low, wait. His hand drifted to Taehyung's chest, his fingers brushing against the fabric of his shirt. Correct your posture, Taehyung, he whispered, his touch sending a spark of electricity through Taehyung's body. What do you see now? Focus, and tell me. As he spoke, his nose brushed against Taehyung's hair, inhaling the sweet scent that drove him wild. His body stirred, his paw ntsgr owing tghtr as he struggled to restrain his desire. Taehyung, oblivious to the effect he had on Jungkook, aimed steadily at the target, his focus unwavering. Just then, Jimin walked in, his eyes narrowing, as he took in the intimate scene before him. He sees me, and I see you, chief, he muttered, his voice dripping with amusement. Jungkook abruptly stepped away from Taehyung, his face flushing with embarrassment. Taehyung, however, seemed oblivious to the tension, his smile radiant as he greeted Jimin. Jimin see, you're lucky, I was about to pull the trigger, Taehyung said, his eyes sparkling with amusement. Jimin's smile was wicked. Yeah, lucky, something was about to explode here. Jimin's eyes locked onto Jungkook's, a hint seriousness etched on his face. Chief, may I have a word with you? He asked, his voice low and measured. There's a case that requires your attention. Jungkook's eyes flashed with annoyance, but his tone was soft as he asked Taehyung to wait outside. Taehyung, can you give us a minute? He requested, his eyes locked on too. Taehyung's. Taehyung nodded, his eyes never leaving Jungkook's. Sure, oppa, but only for 10 minutes. Finish fast, he said. As Taehyung left, Jimin turned to Jungkook, his eyes narrowing. Did he just order you? Or did he use his influence on you? He asked, his voice dripping with amusement. Jungkook's face flushed but his tone was firm. He's comfortable with me, that's all. Now, speak. Jimin's smile was wicked. I think you're in trouble, Kook. You're getting too close to Taehyung. Jungkook's eyes flashed with annoyance, but he knew Jimin was right. He was getting too close to Taehyung, and he didn't know how to stop himself. Jungkook's eyes locked onto Jimin's, his expression tortured. Jimin, I'm in trouble. I didn't mean for it to happen, but I'm stuck. Jimin's eyebrows shot up in surprise. Stuck? What are you talking about, Kook? Taehyung, I'm stuck on him. One glance, and I'm a goner. Jimin's eyes widened in shock. One day, one glance, you're not exactly known for your self-control, Kook. Jungkook's frustration boiled over, and he slammed his fist on the desk. I know, okay, I'm trying to wrap my head around it. He's just so innocent, so pure. And I'm a mess. Jimin's expression softened, and he leaned in, his voice low. Kook, you need to snap out of it. He's our colleague's husband, and he's taken. Jungkook's eyes flashed with desperation. I know, but what can I do? I feel like I'm losing my mind. Jimin's voice was laced with sarcasm. Oh, poor Kook. Maybe I can book a callgirl to distract you. Jungkook's face twisted in disgust. You're not helping, Jimin. Jimin's expression turned serious. Listen, Kook, you need to get a grip. Taehyung is off limits. You can't just ignore him from your life because you can't control your feelings. Jungkook's eyes dropped, his voice barely above a whisper. I know, I just wish, I don't know, maybe I was so used around him. Quote, Jimin's hand clamped on Jungkook's shoulder, his voice firm. Kook, you're just human, it's okay. Now, let's focus on the case and forget about Taehyung for now. Jungkook's voice was low and husky, his tone eager and needy. Jimin, should I surrender to this madness? Should I take a chance and try to make him mine? Jimin's eyes widened in shock, his face pale. Kook, what are you talking about? He whispered, his voice trembling with alarm. Jungkook's eyes burned with intensity, his voice barely above a whisper. Taehyung, I want him, Jimin. I want him so badly it's driving me crazy. Jimin's expression turned stern, his voice firm. Jungkook, listen to me. I'm serious now. Taehyung is innocent, oblivious to your feelings. And what about Daewon? He trusts us, and we're supposed to be his friends. Jungkook's eyes flashed with defiance. You don't understand, Jimin. Taehyung is different. I've never seen anyone like him. My Taehyung is exceptional. Jimin's eyebrows shot up in alarm. You're Taehyung. Jungkook, what's gotten into you? You need to snap out of this. I don't trust your obsessive side. This isn't healthy. Jungkook's voice dropped to a whisper, his eyes burning with intensity. What if it's love, Jimin? Jimin's expression turned incredulous. Love, don't be ridiculous. It's just physical attraction, nothing more. You're not even thinking clearly. Jungkook's face twisted in frustration. You don't understand. Jimin's voice turned cold. I understand all too well. You sent Daewon out on duty on purpose, didn't you? To get him out of the way. Jungkook's smirk was wicked as he confessed, I'll admit it. I wanted to be around Taehyung. Jimin's eyes narrowed, his gaze piercing as he flared at Jungkook. What's gotten into you, look? He demanded, his voice tight with concern. Jungkook's chest heaved, his breathing ragged as he struggled to contain his desire. If you hadn't shown up, Jimin. His voice trailed off, his eyes burning with a fierce longing. I would have crossed a line. I want him, Jimin. I need him. Taehyung's voice was innocent as he asked. Oppa, can I come in? Jimin's eyes widened in shock, his voice barely above a whisper. I can't believe you're doing this, Jungkook. Jungkook's eyes gleamed with amusement. As he beckoned Taehyung, come on in, Twink. Twink, Taehyung asked curious. Jungkook's face froze, his eyes locked on Taehyung's. No, you misheard. I said twin tilde kli tilde ing. Jimin's whisper was laced with amusement. Twinkling. And what exactly was twinkling? The stars in your eyes are something else entirely. Taehyung. Okay, I think I misheard, but I have one more question, oppa. Jimin. One more question, Taehyung. Fire away. Taehyung. Are you the son of Mr. Jaeon, the owner of Jaeon Group? Jimin's nod was casual. The info is correct. He's the heir, and his parents are looking for a suitable alliance. Jungkook's eyes widened in alarm, his voice sharp. What? No, that's not. Nothing's been decided. Jimin's smile was wicked. Why the denial, Kook? Taehyung, he already has a girlfriend, don't you know? Taehyung's eyes sparkled with curiosity. Is it true, oppa? You didn't tell me. Is she beautiful? Jungkook. Jimin, shut up. Taehyung, I don't have anyone. Jimin's chuckle was low. How desperate, Kook. You're practically begging Taehyung to know you're single. Taehyung's smile was radiant. Don't worry, oppa. I can help you find someone special. Jimin's grin was mischievous. Perfect. Taehyung's eyes sparkled with curiosity. So, oppa, what's your interest? Girls or boys? Jungkook's face flushed. Will you stop this? Jimin's chuckle was low. No way, this is getting interesting. I'll answer for him. He's straight, or so he thinks. Jungkook's eyes narrowed, his voice low. Not exactly. I mean, I'm not sure. Taehyung's smile was radiant. You're still figuring, I guess. It's fine, take your time. Jungkook's annoyance grew, his voice firm. Enough, both of you. I'm happy single. Jimin, get back to your duty, now. Jimin's salute was mocking. Yes, chief. He left, whistling a tune. Taehyung's voice was persistent. Oppa, look at me. Oppa. Jungkook's sigh was deep. Sit and read something. Don't disturb me. Taehyung's eyes sparkled with determination. But I want to tell you something, very important. Jungkook's curiosity was piqued, and he set aside his file. Tell me. Taehyung's voice was sincere. Oppa, could you ask your father, Mr. Jaeon, to take me as an intern in your company? Jungkook's surprise was evident. Is this what's important to you? Taehyung's nod was enthusiastic. Yes, it's very important. I want to stand on my own feet. Jungkook's expression softened, and he walked up to Taehyung. What do I do to you? I don't get into his business. Taehyung. Please oppa. Just as a reference. Jungkook. Fine, I'll talk to him. Taehyung's smile was radiant, his eyes sparkling with gratitude. Thank you, oppa. Jungkook's voice was low, his eyes locked on Taehyung's. Taehyung, don't mind me saying this, you need to. His voice trailed off, unable to finish the sentence. Taehyung's eyes looked up at Jungkook, his smile innocent. What's it, oppa? Jungkook's face twisted in frustration. Nothing. You're good this way. Don't change. Taehyung's eyes sparkled with curiosity. Am I too childish? That's what you want to say, right? Jungkook's nod was tiny, his eyes locked on Taehyung's. Actually, yes, but it's fine. I was worried, but I don't need to, since you're married to a cop. You're kind of safe. Taehyung's eyes locked on Jungkook's, his voice low. Why do you think I'm unsafe? Jungkook's gaze held Taehyung's, his eyes burning with intensity. He nodded, a tiny movement, but said nothing.